Hello! It is London calling. I am William. Angus is in York, and Lucy is in Leicester. We are going all England in this Wiwi jury video about Moldova. Natalia Gordienko is singing Prison, but the question is, does it make us feel free? Should we talk about it?
Let's do this.
You guys, Natalia Gordienko really killed it in Moldova's national selection. She won the vote, supported partly by Philip Kirkorov and Demetrius Kontopoulos. They are, of course, her composers, living legends. But is the song legendary, Angus?
In a word, no. You can't call it legendary. However, I do enjoy it. I think the chorus is super catchy. There is something about that and the kind of underlying melody and the instrumentation that sticks in your head. It's an earworm, and that's what Dream Team songs do. They're all about those catchy melodies. Equally, is it tired and dated and a song that we've probably heard, a couple dozen times before at Eurovision? Yes, absolutely. And yet, there's a reason we keep hearing it. It is kind of the catchy melodies. It has that cheesy anthem and bags of staging potential. A song called Prison. Is she going to be in a cage? Is she going to be handcuffed and break free? There's a lot you can do with this. I have to admit, I think the national final performance was a little bit messy, a little bit homespun, we can say. But yeah, it's a catchy melody and a perfectly serviceable pop song from Moldova.
Lucy!
Yeah, I don't think it's great at all. I'm not the world's biggest fan of Dream Team songs in general, so trying to put it into perspective, kind of that. But it's no You Are the Only One, is it? It's not exactly up to their best. I just find it extremely dull. When I've listened to it, I really had to force myself to listen the whole way through in order to review it. I really just find it just so vanilla, and that's my least favourite thing in a Eurovision song is when it's just so, okay, that was that. And so I just find it really dull. Her vocals are really good. She's got power in those lungs.
I'm surrounded by walls, covered with all your memories. Wish this was solitary, no, walking with me in the halls, so there is no forgetting.
But I really just don't think it's up to the standard of when you compare what their neighbouring Romania have brought, it's you look at kind of what all of Europe's brought. I do think it is one of the more bland kind of songs of the year. Unfortunately, it's not my bag. Not my tea.
Power in the lungs and pain in the heart, honey. What I love about this is that there is vanilla sentiment, but it's kind of wrapped in poison. She's like, I don't want to be with you, but I don't want to be without you. So she's a little bit cuckoo. She gets that she should not love this person, but then she still does. And the song has this darkness underneath it. The production, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is quite dark and complicated. I love how she is in many ways the cliche balladeer, beautiful blonde woman in pain. But then at the same time, the production almost gets EDM at the end. There's that clanging and banging dance beat underneath the ballad. And I think for me, the reason it works is that contrast. When I first heard this, I was like, oh my goodness, one of the most interesting ballads of the year, top 5 potential. And then I listened to what everyone else was saying, and I was like, wait a minute, do I stick with my guns and continue to believe in my girl Natalia? And you know what? I continue to believe in my girl Natalia. I think this is just really interesting and would have done well with Eastern voters in particular. There's a very Kirkorov signature here. There's a nostalgic, I don't want to say former Soviet bloc, but there's this, early 90s Russian nostalgia vibe that I keep getting. And I'm a sucker for that. I personally absolutely love that. And I think with staging, this could have been amazing. We need to remember the studio in Moldova I mean, it's among the least kind of well-equipped among the participating broadcasters, and yet they made it look okay at home. And I think that effect where lots of people appear to be walking on screen, I don't know what you call, there's a deluge of people about 2 minutes in, was really quite effective. And in Rotterdam Ahoy, this only would have elevated. Yeah, not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, this tea is sizzling hot. Angus, do you think this would have been a qualifier?
In terms of whether Moldova would have qualified, I think, they were in the more open of the semi-finals, which goes in their favour. But I think really this is the kind of song that it needs Bananas staging behind it to kind of elevate it and push through. Because musically on its own, it's not really one of the sort of top quality songs this year. But it's the kind of thing that, if you give it a novel staging concept, it's the thing that commentators would have spoken about and said, oh, there's a lady from Moldova and she's in prison, but she's breaking free from the chains. And you could have done with it. So I think a borderline for me, it certainly would not have been kind of an automatic pick out of that semi-final to go forward.
Lucy, same question.
With Moldova, you can never say that's not qualifying. You can never, ever say that. Look at Do Re Do's. I will forever use that as an example because, Jesus, before we saw that staging, everybody was like, that's coming dead last, lol. It didn't, as we know. So I genuinely think it probably would have qualified because it is better than Stay from last year. And Stay nearly made it. So, I do think it would have qualified. I do. I don't think it would have, lit up the world in the final, though. But I definitely think it would have qualified because people really enjoy what Moldova do. So, yeah, I think they would have made it.
Let's Stay? I'm going senile.
Last year's song.
From who?
Sand Artist.
From Moldova.
Oh, the Snow Artist. Yes. No, that was, the Snow was amazing. And I really liked the singer. Who was the singer?
Anna.
Odabescu. Anna Odabescu. Yes.
Anna.
Odabescu. Now listen, we've got to talk about Natalia's voice. I have to point out she is the only singer ever to win both the New Wave Festival and Slaviansky Bazaar, two of the biggest festivals in Eastern Europe. And so I think a lot of those of us in the West are kind of forgetting she has clout. She's very respected by music industry professionals. And with the Dream Team, this could have elevated. She didn't need no sand lady, no snow lady. She could have done it on her own. I think the styling in Moldova was perhaps a bit severe. She seemed to have a helmet of hair as opposed to a coif of hair, but that's okay. That's just a stylistic point. I think this really would have come into its own, and I'm sad we're not going to see it, but my hope is that she will return next year, because what we've learned is this woman has pipes. This woman has pipes, and she can serve that I'm trapped in prison Alcatraz realness, which is something I've always loved. Escape from Alcatraz is one of my favorite movies. I highly recommend it. Clint Eastwood was gorgeous, stunning. In any case, we of course are not the only Wiwi bloggers. There are more than 7 million of us all around the world, and we have all cast scores out of 10 to come up with an overall average. Before we give you that average, we're going to go around and give you our individual scores out of 10, along with a justification, starting with Angus.
So I was straight down the middle and gave it a 5. I think it's a catchy melody, the chorus sticks in your head, but it's not really a high kind of, it's not one of the top pop songs of the year, we can say. And, for me personally, it's not one of the ones that I automatically reach for the repeat button. It's kind of more one of those that if it comes on, I'm not offended by it and think there are moments that I quite enjoy.
I absolutely savaged it. I'm not gonna lie. I gave it a 2. It was my lowest score of the year. I just find it so unoriginal. I know that's probably a bit mean, but I just do think that they just could have done so much more. I mean, there were some really interesting songs in O Melody Pentru that could have. I don't know. It's just really. I think, like I say, I've listened to it once in full, and that was purely because it was I was reviewing it. I was like, look, I can't review it without listening in full, and it's just so boring to me. It's so forgetful, and yeah, 2.
Prisons are places of confinement, isolation, contemplation, rebirth, if your sentence does what it's meant to do, conjugal visits, passion, horrible food, great memories, orange is the new black, Natalia is the new black. My score is an 8.5. 8.5, honey. Taking this to the T-O-P. Okay? I am surrounded by walls covered with all your memories. Wish this were solitary, Natalia. If it was solitary and I managed to sneak in my iPhone, if I had swallowed it and then released it and pulled down press play, I'd be listening to Prison in Prison. Okay? I think it's magical. I think it's just magical. In any case, as we said, we are not the only Wiwi bloggers. They are all around this glorious earth. The overall global average is a 5.75. Clearly, I'm the outlier. I'm going to call this a little low, but I suspect you're going to call it spot on.
I think that's bang on for about where I would put it this year, because that, you know, we have to see how all the averages pan out, but that's probably not bad. Like, that's in the middle of the pack, so it's not anyone. Yeah, I think it's middle of the road. That's what we can say. It has its fans, it has detractors, and most people aren't offended by it. So yeah, I think that's reasonable to me anyway.
Yeah, I think you got a fair game there. I think that's, like you say, complete bang on. Like, I know my score is probably going in the lower end of what everybody's offered. So, yeah, I was expecting something around the 5 mark. So,
I'm calling Judge Judy. This jury is canceled. In any case, that's what we think. What do you think? What is your score out of 10 for Natalia Gordienko? Do you think this prison is a place you want to check in? Let us know here on Wiwi Vlogs.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, give us a like in the comments, let us know what you think about Natalia's prison, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video from Wiwi Blogs.
and make sure to subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye!